Good afternoon. This is All India Radio. I am Valsa Williams and with me is Anita Anand with the Midday News. The headlines. Nation continues to march strongly on its path of COVID recovery. National recovery rate improves to 92.09%. Over 127,000 cases recorded nationwide in the last 24 hours, lowest in the last 54 days. Defence Minister Rajnath Singh speaks to his Australian counterpart Peter Dutton over telephone on measures to fight against COVID-19 pandemic. Defence Research and Development Organisation issues directions for use of 2DG medicine. More than 21 crore 60 lakh vaccine doses administered in the country so far. Health Minister Harshvardhan asked Rajasthan government to probe high wastage and dumping of COVID vaccines. Uttar Pradesh government launches massive drive to vaccinate 1 crore people in June. One Nation, One Standard scheme launched. India to host BRICS foreign ministers meeting virtually this evening. And in sports, Sanjeev bags gold medal at Asian Boxing Championships in Dubai. Naomi Osaka withdraws from French Open Tennis Championship following her decision to boycott all media activity at Grand Slam event. In the wake of COVID-19, we appeal to our listeners not to lower their guard, take all precautions, and all those above 45 years of age who have taken the first dose of COVID-19 vaccine to get vaccinated with the second dose at the scheduled time. Stay safe and protected by following these 3 simple steps. Wear a face mask, maintain 2 gaz ki duri for social distancing, focus on hand and face hygiene. For providing COVID-related information and guidance to the people, national helpline numbers 011 239 78046 and 1075 are operational. And now the news. The nation continues to march strongly on its path of COVID recovery, with gradual decrease in the total number of active cases. For the 19th consecutive day today, the number of patients discharged has outnumbered the new cases. In the past 24 hours, over 255,000 COVID patients recovered from the disease. With this, the recovery rate in the country has further improved to 92.09%. In the last 24 hours, 127,510 fresh cases were recorded nationwide, the lowest in the last 54 days. The cumulative share of active COVID cases in the country is nearly 6.73% of the total reported cases. The Health Ministry has informed that currently nearly 18 lakh people are reported to be suffering from the viral disease and are either hospitalized or under home isolation. The active caseload has slipped below the 20 lakh mark after 43 days. The daily positivity rate also remained at around 6.62%, much below the 10% mark for the 8th consecutive day. The ministry added that so far over 2 crore 59 lakh people have recovered from the COVID-19 infection in the country. The Health Ministry has informed that 2,795 COVID-related deaths were reported in the last 24 hours, taking the cumulative toll to 3,31,895. ICMR has informed that in the past 24 hours, another milestone in terms of daily testing was achieved, with more than 19,25,000 samples being tested across the country. India has crossed a major landmark with the administration of more than 2 crore COVID vaccine doses to the people in the age group of 18 to 44 years so far. With this, the cumulative vaccine doses given across different age groups in the country has surpassed the figure of 21 crore 60 lakh. The ministry said that more than 27,80,000 vaccine doses were given in the country in the last 24 hours. Out of these, nearly 24 lakh beneficiaries were vaccinated with the first dose, while around 4 lakh beneficiaries received their second dose of the vaccine. The ministry said more than 12 lakh beneficiaries in the age group of 18 to 44 years received their first dose of COVID vaccine in the last 24 hours, and nearly 13,000 beneficiaries in the same age group received their second dose of the vaccine. The ministry said more than 10 lakh beneficiaries in the age group of 18 to 44 years have already received their first dose of COVID vaccine in the states of Bihar, Delhi, Gujarat, Haryana, Karnataka, Maharashtra, Madhya Pradesh, Rajasthan, Tamil Nadu and Uttar Pradesh.
The Defense Research and Development Organization DRDO today issued directions for use of 2-DG medicine. It said the drug can be given to COVID-19 patients under the care and prescription of doctors as per DCGI approval. The 2-DG is approved for emergency use as adjunct therapy to the standard of care in the treatment of COVID patients in the hospital settings. Caution should be exercised in patients with uncontrolled diabetes, severe cardiac problem, severe hepatic and renal impairment, and the effect of this drug on these patients has not been studied yet. It should not be given to pregnant and lactating women and patients below 18 years. Patients and attendants are advised to request their hospitals to contact Dr. Reddy's Lab, Hyderabad, for medicine supply at email 2dg@drreddys.com. The Union Health Minister, Dr. Harshvardhan, has urged Rajasthan government to probe the report of alleged high wastage of COVID vaccine in the state. In a letter to State Health Minister Raghu Sharma, Dr. Harshvardhan, while referring to a media report, said the high COVID-19 vaccine wastage in certain districts of Rajasthan is a matter of grave concern and asked him to urgently investigate the matter and firm up the planning of vaccination drive. A media report was highlighted that more than 500 vials of COVID-19 vaccines were found dumped in the waste bins of 35 COVID vaccination centers in the state. The Union Minister said in almost all districts, vaccine wastage is more than the national average, which is less than 1%.
The Uttar Pradesh government launched a massive drive today to vaccinate 1 crore people against corona across the state this month. So far, the vaccination drive was confined to 23 districts only. More from our Lucknow correspondent.
The drive will be conducted in all 75 districts of the state to safeguard the people from deadly coronavirus and will focus on beneficiaries of both the age groups 18 plus and those above the age of 45. Separate guardian special booths will be set up in all districts. Such persons whose children are below the age of 12 years will be contacted and encouraged to get vaccinated on priority. Special camps will also be set up for journalists, government employees and members of the judiciary. Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath has directed officials to prepare work plan for a special vaccination drive for socially and economically weaker sections like drivers, vendors and rickshaw pullers from 15 June. In order to meet the target of 1 crore vaccinations, around 6,000 vaccination centers will be set up across the state. Sushil Chandra Tiwari, AIR News, Lucknow.
Union Education Minister Dr. Ramesh Pokhriyal Nishank has been admitted to the All India Institute of Medical Sciences, AIIMS, New Delhi today due to post-COVID complications. The minister was earlier infected with the coronavirus in April this year. As per the latest health bulletin from the hospital, Mr. Nishank has been reported to be stable and is responding well to medicines.
In Gujarat, more than 2 lakh persons have been vaccinated yesterday. Out of this, 1,12,381 persons from the age group of 18 to 44 years. AIR Ahmedabad correspondent reports that vaccination of youth in the state has almost doubled during the last 1 week. More from our correspondent.
The state government's campaign to focus on vaccinating the working population improved the share of 18 to 44 years age group. Against the vaccination of 2 lakh persons yesterday, more than half were from 18 to 44 years age group. The trend is continuously witnessed since last 1 week. According to the State Health Department, total 1 crore 71 lakh persons have been vaccinated in the state till now. Out of these, about 16 lakh persons are from 18 to 44 years age group. Yogesh Pandya, AIR News, Ahmedabad.
In Maharashtra, due to the COVID-19 restrictions, the flow of donors who visit orphanages and old age homes to give funds and essential items has completely stopped. Vijay Salekar, Tehsildar of Panvel in Raigad district, has taken note of this issue and given them a helping hand. More from our Mumbai correspondent.
During the lockdown period, the number of visitors to old age homes and orphanages decreased. Drastic drop in donations is a major cause of concern for them. Vijay Salekar, Tehsildar of Panvel, took serious note of this issue and decided to give them a helping hand. He started distributing wheat, rice and pulses to the old age homes and orphanages in the Tehsil.
बहुत दिनों से कोरोना का प्रादुर्भाव की वजह से हमारे आश्रम को देनगी या डोनेशन नहीं आ रहे, तो हमारे माननीय तहसीलदार तलेकर साहब ने ध्यान देकर हमारे वृद्धाश्रम को अन्न धान्य का डोनेशन दिया है.
This initiative by Vijay Tarekar has been a great relief to many orphans and the senior citizens. Madhuri Pange with Shobna Deshmukh, AIR News, Mumbai.
With decreasing number of COVID cases, the Rajasthan government has decided to relax the lockdown restrictions. The Home Department has issued new guidelines for modified lockdown, which will come into force from 5 a.m. tomorrow. In the districts where the positivity rate is less than 10%, all types of shops will be allowed to open from 5 a.m. to 11 a.m. More from our correspondent.
3 days weekend curfew will continue till the number of active cases in the state come down to below 10,000. Intra-district travel by private vehicles will be allowed from Tuesday to Friday from 5 a.m. to 12 noon. At the same time, traffic will be allowed across the state from private vehicles within the stipulated time limit after 8th June. Government offices are allowed to open from 9:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. with 25% attendance, whereas private offices can be opened with 25% employees till 2 p.m. Home delivery facility of processed foods, sweets by restaurant will continue till 10 p.m. Jitendra Dwivedi, AIR News, Jaipur.
In Madhya Pradesh, 1,205 new cases of corona infection have been reported in the past 24 hours, while 5,023 patients have recovered during the same time. Now the number of active cases in the state has come down to 23,390. The positivity rate is 2.5% for the last 7 days. A report.
The corona infection in Madhya Pradesh is almost on its way to end. Less than 20 cases have been reported in 45 out of 52 districts of the state. At the same time, the average positivity rate in past 7 days in 49 districts of the state has come down to less than 5%, while in 17 districts it has less than 1%. On the other hand, Bhopal-based Indian Institute of Science Education and Research, in collaboration with scientists from All India Institute of Medical Sciences and Bangalore-based Indian Institute of Science, have developed a test kit that can identify corona infection within a minute. The kit is still being tested, but results have been significantly good so far. Sanjeev Sharma, AIR News, Bhopal.
Tamil Nadu Chief Minister M.K. Stalin has appealed to the public to unite with the government in the battle against COVID. In a video message to the people of the state today, he said that the number of COVID fresh cases has declined drastically from 7,000 to 2,000 in capital city Chennai after the implementation of the full lockdown measures imposed by the government from 24th of May. More from our correspondent.
Chief Minister explained that lockdown measures cannot be extended for a long time as economy needs to be revived soon. Listing out the various initiatives accelerated by the government, which was 3 weeks old, Stalin said that at least 3 lakh people were vaccinated and a total of 1,70,000 RT-PCR tests were done every day. He said that to encourage and acknowledge the selfless sacrifice of the medical fraternity and also to give hope to those patients who were recovering from the pandemic, he had visited the COVID patients ward by wearing a PPE suit. Appealing to the people to unite against COVID, he said that protecting oneself by following the regulations of the government will be the only way to overcome the present situation. Joy, AIR News, Chennai.
In Karnataka, the Health Department has launched Doctors' Ride Towards Village Side program. Under this scheme, the government provides necessary logistic support for the teams led by medical students to visit villages and provide better health care during the pandemic. More from our correspondent.
MBBS final year students, BSc Nursing, BDS, MDS, Ayush graduating doctors are deputed to rural areas to carry out COVID tests. A team of medical students, nurses, ASHA and Anganwadi workers visit door to door to identify vulnerable members of the family and carry out tests. They also distribute medicine kits wherever necessary. After the rapid antigen test, if the report arrived is positive, the team helps the patients to be admitted in a hospital or in COVID care center. The primary and secondary contacts of the positive patients are traced and tested by them. Each team is given an ambulance for transporting the patients to a facility. Sudhindra, AIR News, Bengaluru.
In the Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir, Lieutenant Governor Manoj Sinha visited the construction site of the Defence Research and Development Organization's 500-bedded COVID hospital at Khonmore on the outskirts of Srinagar city and inspected the work done for the establishment of a COVID-dedicated facility there. It will have the capacity of 125 ICU beds and 375 beds with oxygen connectivity. More from our Srinagar correspondent.
Lieutenant Governor Manoj Sinha directed the DRDO and the district officials to expedite the pace of work of the hospital and complete it by 5th of June for the trial run of all the facilities. He also directed to prepare a 25-bedded pediatric intensive care unit in the facility with a dedicated team of doctors, nurses, dietitians and coordinators, besides equipping the facility with CT scan and other medical imaging machines. He said that nothing is more important than the lives of the people, and his administration is working round the clock in providing the best possible healthcare facilities for the people of Jammu and Kashmir. He reiterated that the operationalization of DRDO's hospitals at Jammu and Srinagar would go a long way in strengthening the efforts of the government against COVID pandemic and also substantially increase the COVID dedicated bed capacity and treatment in Jammu and Kashmir. This is Sunil Kohl for AIR News from Srinagar.
The centre has been disseminating awareness of 4 national-level helpline numbers created for the benefit of citizens during the COVID-19 pandemic. Information and Broadcasting Ministry is promoting awareness about these helpline numbers through its various departments. The National Helpline of Ministry of Health and Family Welfare for COVID-related queries is 1075. The Child Helpline number of Ministry of Women and Child Development is 1098. For senior citizens of Delhi, Karnataka, Madhya Pradesh, Rajasthan, Tamil Nadu, Telangana, Uttar Pradesh and Uttarakhand, the helpline number of the Ministry of Social Justice and Empowerment is 14567. The helpline number of the National Institute of Mental Health and Neurosciences, NIMHANS, for psychological support is 08046110007.
You're listening to the Midday News on All India Radio. A reminder of the headlines before we move on. Nation continues to march strongly on its path of COVID recovery. National recovery rate improves to 92.09%. Over 127,000 cases were recorded nationwide in the last 24 hours, lowest in the last 54 days. Defence Minister Rajnath Singh speaks to his Australian counterpart Peter Dutton over telephone about the measures to fight against COVID-19 pandemic. Defence Research and Development Organisation issues directions for use of 2G medicine. More than 21 crore 60 lakh vaccine doses administered in the country so far. Health Minister Harshvardhan asks Rajasthan government to probe high wastage and dumping of COVID vaccines. Uttar Pradesh government launches massive drive to vaccinate 1 crore people in June. One Nation, One Standard scheme launched. India to host BRICS foreign ministers meeting virtually this evening. And in sport, Sanjeet bags gold medal at Asian Boxing Championships in Dubai, and Naomi Osaka withdraws from French Open Tennis Championship following her decision to boycott all media activity at Grand Slam event. For quick news updates round the clock, follow us on our Twitter handle at AIR News Alerts.
Welcome back to the Midday News. Defence Minister Rajnath Singh spoke to his Australian counterpart Peter Dutton over telephone today. The two leaders discussed about the measures taken by both the countries to fight against the COVID-19 pandemic. Mr. Singh has said that both India and Australia share a warm and people-to-people contact underpinned by a strategic partnership. He also thanked the Australian Armed Forces for their wholehearted support in India's fight against COVID-19. Mr. Singh asserted that India remains fully committed to the implementation of comprehensive strategic partnership with Australia. He said both sides look forward to convening the ministerial 2+2 dialogue at the earliest opportunity. External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar will chair the BRICS Foreign Ministers meeting today. India, as the current BRICS chair, will convene the virtual meeting. Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov, Chinese Foreign Minister Wang Yi and South Africa's Minister of International Relations and Cooperation, Grace Naledi Mandisa Pandor, are expected to participate. Brazilian Foreign Minister Carlos Alberto Franca is also likely to attend the virtual meeting. A report.
The foreign ministers are expected to exchange views on the COVID-19 pandemic situation. They are also likely to discuss the need for strengthening and reforming the multilateral system with a view to enhancing its capacity to effectively address the diverse challenges of the time. Also on the agenda for talks are sustainable development, countering terrorism, and discussing ways to enhance intra-BRICS cooperation, especially people-to-people cooperation. India is the BRICS chair for 2021. This is the third time that the country is holding the BRICS chairship after 2012 and 2016. Suparna Sethia, AIR News, Delhi.
One Nation, One Standard scheme has been launched with an aim to synergize standards adopted by various standard development organizations in the country. The voluntary integration scheme of multiple standard formulating bodies will bring uniformity in the quality of goods and services produced in the country and will boost the brand India image. The scheme was launched today in a joint virtual event organized by the Ministry of Railways and the Ministry of Consumer Affairs. Research Designs and Standards Organization RDSO Lucknow has become the first organization in the country to join the One Nation, One Standard scheme. Minister of State for Personnel, Public Grievances and Pensions, Jitendra Singh, has said that the family pensions rule have been simplified in view of the COVID pandemic. He said a provision was recently made for the provisional family pension to be sanctioned immediately on receipt of claim for family pension and death certificate from the eligible family member without waiting for the other formalities or procedural requirements to be completed. Dr. Jitendra Singh said this provision is applicable in case of death happening during the pandemic, either because of COVID or because of non-COVID cause.
Professor Dr. Sanjay Pandey of the GB Pant Hospital, New Delhi, has said that one can diagnose oxygen level issues even without having an oximeter. He was taking part in the Corona Jagrukta program on All India Radio last night.
6 मिनट वॉक टेस्ट में एक पेशेंट को कहते हैं कि आप 6 मिनट तक वॉक करिए और उसमें अगर उसकी सांस फूलने लगे या अनकंफर्टेबल फील करने लगे तो ये मानकर चलते हैं कि पेशेंट को ऑक्सीजन लेवल कम हो रहा है। दूसरा है कि अगर उसका सांस लेने की गति बढ़ जाती है तो भी ऐसा कह सकते हैं कि उसमें हो सकता है कि ऑक्सीजन CO2 लेवल कम हो रहा हो। तो ये जो बेसिक जो टिप्स हैं इसको आप फॉलो करें, इसको आप डायग्नोस कर लेंगे। लेकिन जो सबसे बेहतर उसका तरीका है कि अगर आपको कभी भी ऐसा लगे कि अनकंफर्टेबल फील कर रहे हैं या मरीज थोड़ा सा सुस्त हो रहा है तो फटाफट डॉक्टर के पास जाएं।
The centre has rebuffed claims made in certain sections of the media that mucormycosis can spread through farm chickens. Terming the claim to be fake, the IB's fact-check unit has said there is no scientific evidence that the infection can spread from chickens to humans.
The Haryana government has adopted a 16-year-old special orphan child from Faridabad. He had unfortunately lost his adoptive parents to COVID-19, leaving him orphaned again. An official spokesman said that Haryana Chief Minister Manohar Lal visited Deep Ashram to meet the children residing there. He met a child who lost both his adoptive parents due to the deadly virus. Moved by his story, the Chief Minister immediately announced to adopt him on behalf of the government. The Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir, a 6-year-old girl's video message to Prime Minister Narendra Modi complaining of huge burden of school homework through online education has not only won the hearts of the people on the internet but also constrained the Jammu and Kashmir administration to undergo some policy changes in order to lighten the pressure on young school kids. In a short video posted on Twitter that went viral, the 6-year-old girl appeals to Prime Minister Narendra Modi to ease the burden of homework on school kids.
Lieutenant General Pradeep Chandran Nair today took over as the 21st Director General of the Assam Rifles, popularly known as Sentinels of the Northeast. He has rich experience of Assam Rifles and the Northeast, having earlier been an Inspector General and a company commander in Assam Rifles. General Nair also commanded Assam Rifles battalions as a brigade commander. The general officer was commissioned into the Sikh Regiment in 1985. On to sports, Indian heavyweight boxer Sanjeet bagged gold at the Asian Boxing Championships in Dubai yesterday. He defeated Olympic silver medalist Vasily Levit of Kazakhstan in the men's 91-kilogram final to hand India its second gold. Indian contingent concluded its successful campaign with an unprecedented 15 medals, including 2 gold, 5 silver and 8 bronze medals. Pooja Rani had clinched the first gold in the women's 75-kilogram on Sunday.
Naomi Osaka withdrew herself from the French Open Tennis Championship following the bitter fallout from her decision to boycott all media activity at the Grand Slam event. The four-time Grand Slam winner and world's number 2 tennis player, 23-year-old Japanese star, was fined $15,000 on Sunday. She was threatened with disqualification after she refused to carry out a mandatory news conference following her first-round win. Today is the Global Day of Parents. In 2012, the United Nations General Assembly proclaimed 1st June as the Global Day of Parents to be observed annually in honor of parents throughout the world. Since the 1980s, the United Nations began focusing on the issues related to the family. The special day recognizes parents as vital in providing protection and positive development for their children and the primary caregivers and teachers of their children.
Today is World Milk Day. Since 2001, World Milk Day is being celebrated all over the world. The day was established by the Food and Agriculture Organization of the United Nations to appreciate dairy farmers and the dairy sector and recognize the importance of milk as a global food. The dairy sector supports the livelihoods of millions of people in India. The theme and focus of World Milk Day 2021 is sustainability in the dairy sector with messages on nutrition. India is one of the largest producers of milk in the world. India's success story in milk production was scripted by Dr. Verghese Kurian, known as the father of the White Revolution in India.
The National Human Rights Commission has issued an advisory on the right to mental health in view of the second wave of COVID-19 pandemic. It said there are reports of increased mental health morbidity, including a rise in domestic violence and substance abuse during the pandemic. NHRC stated that every patient with any mental health condition should be provided access to affordable mental health care and minimum mental health services run or funded by the state or central government.
Now let us take a look at the weather report and forecast for today. The national capital Delhi is having thunderstorm with rain. The maximum temperature will be around 35 degrees Celsius. Minimum was 20 degrees. Mumbai is facing a partly cloudy sky with 1 or 2 spells of rain or thunder showers. Maximum temperature will be 32 degrees, rising from a lower level of 27 degrees. Kolkata is having a generally cloudy sky with a few spells of rain or thunder showers. The city temperature will move from a minimum of 24 degrees Celsius to a maximum of around 29. Chennai is witnessing a partly cloudy sky. Upper limit of temperature will be 39 degrees, while the lower limit was 29. Srinagar is facing a partly cloudy sky with possibility of rain or thunderstorm or dust storm. The temperature will hover between 13 and 26 degrees. Jammu is having a partly cloudy sky with possibility of rain or thunderstorm or dust storm. Temperature will rise from minimum of 22 degrees to maximum of around 37. Leh is seeing a generally cloudy sky with light rain. Upper limit of temperature will be around 19, rising from a minimum of 6 degrees Celsius. Gilgit is having a generally cloudy sky with light rain. The temperature will move from a minimum of 16 to a maximum of 34 degrees Celsius. In Muzaffarabad, the sky is partly cloudy. Temperature will increase from a minimum of 16 degrees to a maximum of around 26. Dehradun is experiencing a partly cloudy sky with possibility of rain or thunderstorm or dust storm. The upper limit of temperature will be around 34 degrees from minimum of 21 degrees. In Chandigarh, the sky is partly cloudy with 1 or 2 spells of rain or thunder showers. Temperature likely to rise up to 38 degrees Celsius from 21 degrees. In Hyderabad, rain or thunder showers would occur towards evening or night. Temperatures will fluctuate between 23 to 37 degrees. Ahmedabad is having a partly cloudy sky. Maximum temperature will be around 38. Minimum was 27. And now before we end the bulletin, the headlines once again. Nation continues to march strongly on its path of COVID recovery. National recovery rate improves to 92.09%. Over 1,27,000 cases recorded nationwide in the last 24 hours, lowest in the last 54 days. Defence Minister Rajnath Singh speaks to Australian counterpart Peter Dutton on telephone on measures to fight against COVID-19 pandemic. Defence Research and Development Organisation issues directions for use of 2DG medicine. More than 21 crore 60 lakh vaccine doses administered in the country so far. Health Minister Harshvardhan asked the Rajasthan government to probe high wastage and dumping of COVID vaccines. Uttar Pradesh government launches massive drive to vaccinate 1 crore people in June. One Nation, One Standard scheme launched. India to host BRICS foreign ministers meeting virtually this evening. In sports, Sanjeet bags gold medal at Asian Boxing Championships in Dubai. Naomi Osaka withdraws from French Open Tennis Championship following her decision to boycott all media activity at Grand Slam event. And with that, we end the midday news.